And it's Ken Kraetzer for CaMMVetsMedia at the Independence Bowl. Army is a winner, 27-6. They win their 12th game of the year, a school record, and their quarterback, Bryson Dymond, sets a new all-time NCAA record for touchdowns by a quarterback with 32. He had 3 touchdowns in the game, and he surpassed a record held by Keenan Reynolds of the Naval Academy. Hey, great to have with me today Omar-Rashon, who is a first lieutenant in the U.S. Army. He's class of 2021 from West Point. Omar, good to see you. What were your thoughts about the game today?
Yeah, so thanks for having me on, Ken. I really appreciate it. Honestly, I just felt like a classic, methodical Army win where there was no bones about it. Army was going to run up the middle. The edge play was nice at times. Noah Short got going. Tyrell Robinson, it was good to see him get going again and close out his long Army career. But there just really wasn't much complexities about it. It was up the middle with Hayden Reed, up the middle with Bryson Dymond, and then drive down, and the game was pretty much settled. You hate to say that the game was settled early, but 21-3 seemed pretty insurmountable with Army taking that lead at halftime. So honestly,
well, I'll tell you one thing about that. I was talking to Caleb Fortner. There was at that point in the game, 21-3. Louisiana Tech looked like they might be making a move, another drive, but then the Army defense got back-to-back sacks by Deshaun Gray and then Caleb Fortner. And that took the air out of that drive and just left it as at 21-3 and kept it from getting close or competitive in the second half. But what another closeout to his career for Bryson Dymond. 3 touchdowns in the game. He ran for 127 yards and just phenomenal. What was your impression of watching Bryson Dymond today?
Man, so I guess a lot of the people that follow my stuff that know me well know I've been an Army fan for a while, since 2005. Just a little background, I mean, both my parents were enlisted, so I became an Army fan because I thought Army football was the Army's football team, not West Point's, but I've been a fan for a while. So something that hit me, this felt kind of like the 2013 Armed Forces Bowl with Navy when Keenan Reynolds had his record season with 31 touchdowns, Ken, where it was a celebratory kind of nature where they were trying to rack up the stats, it felt like, at the end of that game, or not at the end, I should say. I don't want to attack anyone, but they were racking up the stats for Keenan Reynolds in that game, and same thing for Bryson Dymond. Like, that was the biggest headline, and it was exciting to see him chase those touchdowns. And it's even more exciting now because I would hate to root against Boise State. They're a great story, but now the only question is will Bryson Dymond lead the country in touchdowns when it's all said and done, with Ashton Jeanty close behind him at 29 touchdowns? So I think that's my thoughts on Dymond's performance. I mean, it was what he's done all year, so what's the surprise?
Well, it has been phenomenal to watch him. I said after the Navy game that we watched him emerge, and there was a game up at UMass 2 years ago at Thanksgiving, and he got in the game, and what does he do? He runs 6 yards for a touchdown, and then he won the starting job against Dwayne Coleman in spring practice the next year, and it's just gone on. He does. I always say to people, he's really a fullback playing quarterback, but he throws the ball, and he had the nice play to the 52-yard pass play to David Crossan in the second half that set up the 4th Army touchdown. And he threw the ball. Hayden Reed had a nice game today, stepping up with Kanye Udo's departure. Hayden Reed had 114 yards and a touchdown, and great to see him. And then the whole offensive line. They got the Joe Moore Award for the best offensive line. Brady Small and Pella Generality and Connor Finucane, who commissioned last week. What would you think about the offensive line for Army this year? They were so successful and cohesive as a unit.
I mean, shoot, there really isn't much else to say beyond that, Ken. Just the cohesion, the togetherness, honestly, just as a unit. They were brilliant. I mean, we've had great running attacks before, but I really feel like the spotlight on this line was different because, of course, I remember in 2011, 2012, we averaged about like 370, 360-ish yards a game running the ball.
There were some good days. About 10 years ago, they ran the ball well, but they struggled a bit on defense in that era. So, well, talk about the defense. What was your impression? Again, we seem to take it for granted, but they limited the opponent, a competent team, to 2 field goals. And they kept forcing Louisiana Tech to punt. They even punted once when they were in the Army half of the field, and they just were able. They did a goal line stand today. I mean, how many times this year have they been able to do that? And they were playing against a young quarterback today who liked to throw the ball, and but they were able to put the pressure on. And as we were talking about earlier, the 2 sacks, one was 21-3, really, kept the game from getting close. What was your thought about how Army's defense?
I thought Army's defense played amazing. Obviously, only allowing 6 points. But the thing that struck me, like you said, with Louisiana Tech's quarterback Evan Bullock, likes to throw a lot. But Army kind of pushed Louisiana Tech out of their element. They run an air raid. Sonny Cumbie, of course, their coach with Texas Tech roots. Mike Leach, coaching tree and everything. But Louisiana Tech was running the ball more in the second half, even when they were behind. So I feel like Army's ability to take them out of their game, out of what they like to do, really shows how great this unit was all year, Ken.
Well, they certainly did. Nate Woody, defense coordinator, just is extraordinary in the way he prepares things. We were worried about going into it that the defensive backfield was limited in experience, but they grew into the roles, and they were really good about keeping plays in front of them. Very seldom they ever get beat on anything long. I mean, they would give up the quick out patterns, like Evan Bullock liked to throw today. But the defensive backs really played well throughout, led by Max DiDomenico, the captain.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, like you said, they kept the plays right in front of them. Their biggest pass plays, Louisiana Tech's, were intermediate plays, with run after the catch, with the one coming to mind being the screen up the middle. But yeah, like you said, not really any deep plays, which is just great. It's better than we've seen the secondary play in recent years.
Okay. Well, Omar, tell us a little bit about, I want to ask you a couple of things. Tell us one about your football publication.
Oh, so I'm a freelancer, really. So my main publications I write for are Redshirt Sports, where I do FCS, FBS, and a bunch of other things. I write for As for Football, the West Point site with Dan Okabeza, Rob Robinson, and everything, Rob Dangy Colonel. Great guys. I love working with them. And I also write for Hustle Belt, freelance a bit for there. Mostly UMass coverage, as I love writing about Northeast college football. From Massachusetts, lived there for 10 years. So I'm just all over the place. Anywhere that lets me write, I always tell them I'll work for free because I got a day job and I just want to.
You have a very important day job. You are an officer, a first lieutenant in the U.S. Army. You're class of 2021. You're in the Signal Corps.
Yes, sir.
And tell us a little bit about that. Tell us about what your Army experience has been so far.
So it really hasn't been too much, really, my Army experience. No deployments or anything, but everyone gives something when they serve, really. So I just try each day just to give glory to God, do whatever your hand finds to do with all your might, like the Bible says. And it's just been great. I've been a platoon leader, then an executive officer, seeing a lot of how I guess at the company level things work and how things have to get done. But it's just been an honor serving with the soldiers. Honestly, my motivations are the Lord, my family, and then doing the best I can to help soldiers succeed. I won't ever brag about my military service. It's not much compared to a lot of people's, but I just do my best with what the Lord has given me.
Absolutely. That's one thing about soldiers. Every soldier knows someone who had it tougher than they did.
Absolutely, sir.
And you see that with some of like the World War II veterans and some of the Vietnam veterans. But everyone who serves in the U.S. Army deserves appreciation.
Thank you, sir.
Because you're training yourself, you're training others, and you never know when you're going to get the call.
Yes, sir.
You have to go somewhere on the front line to help defend our country,
Yes,
so
sir.
we respect that. But Omar, we hope we'll stay in touch and maybe get you involved with some of the things we do with CaMMVetsMedia, covering West Point, and also we try to cover Naval Academy, and we cover the Army, we cover things like New York City Fleet Week. We actually do a lot of military coverage and work with the Association of the U.S. Army and also the Navy League of the United States, and also the Council on Foreign Relations lately. It's one of our new things. But today it's football. Thank you so much for joining us. Happy New Year to you. This is Ken Kraetzer for CaMMVetsMedia. We cover cadets, midshipmen, the military, and veterans proudly since 2008. I want to thank all my colleagues who've been supporting us, especially John Turan's been writing a lot of articles for us, and Richard Miller, and Jack McGurk, and Chuck Donegan. And can't forget Colonel Sam Houston from the class of '87 on our Army football huddle show every week. We appreciate our whole team, and looking forward to next year already. You never know, spring practice is only about 3 months away. Wow. Omar, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And Happy New Year. This is Ken Kraetzer for CaMMVetsMedia from the Independence Bowl in Shreveport, Louisiana. Thanks for watching.